Thanks again for tuning into my channel. Today, I want to talk about how the coronavirus is currently affecting China. So recently, there was a spike of cases in Hebei province, one province over from where I currently live. So one can imagine the trepidation currently plaguing the region. This actually starts the third wave here in China. The second wave took place in Heilongjiang province and neighboring Jilin province during the summer, both of which are also experiencing a resurgence. As for the rest of China, there hasn't been a major outbreak since the original spread. And, in fact, most cases outside the northeast region, or Dongbei as they call it here, has fallen to nearly nothing. But China, as both a precaution to furthering spread as well as saving face after the previous embarrassment, has, I would say, unwisely locked down the entire country, making travel all but impossible, except in extreme circumstances. This, during China's largest mass migration period, is both unprecedented and completely unheard of, which further shows how much of a strong grip the government has over the people of the country here. But I want to steer away from the politics for a moment and reflect on my own experience. I had been planning my vacation since early December before the outbreak occurred, so I didn't think it would be or I would be personally affected by it. I wasn't planning on traveling to an affected area or indeed to any area filled with people. Of course, it didn't help that my company never gave a clear timeline as to when the holiday period would start or end. One must understand that, as a teacher, I have no control over when I can take time off from work. When the students are here, I need to be here too. Well, I guess the same can be said for many kinds of occupations, but for me, it is a real necessity. I provide this very specific function to society, and I had put in such dedicated work since September, really even as far back as late August, before the semester even started. As the only foreign teacher in my school for several months, at least until late November, I had to go above and beyond for my company. If I didn't perform my duties as they were laid out, they would have canceled my contract, and that would have been a disaster like what happened to me in Japan. And I couldn't afford that. So I basically did the work of three people by myself, a situation I hadn't faced since AmeriCorps in 2008. Yes, even when the other foreign teacher finally arrived, I was still doing the work of two people. I had pushed myself very hard, and it took its toll on my body. So, asking for a little rest and relaxation, a little me time, probably isn't asking too much. And yet, they make it seem like my request goes against the foundation of their society. Yes, many people were negatively affected by the virus, some worse than me, and I might seem selfish to want a little bit for myself. But is it really asking too much to be able to explore this beautiful country and experience its culture, places, and people while I am here? I think the government is being overly cautious by instituting these restrictions and precautions, exerting far too much control over the population. People can't even leave the cities they live in. Certainly, precautions can be put into place that would control the spread of the virus without restricting the mobility of the population. And I certainly wouldn't mind taking whatever tests necessary to give me a clean bill of health for traveling. I'd even pay for that myself if necessary. But to completely lose out on the little chance I have to live where I am completely undermines why I would even bother living here to begin with. And it gives me a very negative view of the culture I want to experience. So, what's my next step? That is yet to be determined. Thanks again for listening to my rants. If you like what you heard, feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment, and whatever else suits your fancy. Also consider helping me out on my Patreon. Thanks again for your time, and see you next time.